And
post
we
this
are
motherfucker.
live. Go ahead and share all that stuff,
All
everybody.
right.
Is it
Um,
time to share some of that good stuff?
Are we
share that
on?
good,
Are we
good.
live?
We are
Is it
live
happening?
on. Oh wait,
Should
I
we
didn't
tell
update the
people?
titles.
You gotta change the title.
Oh
Uh-oh.
no, it says it's the writer's block.
Oh, hang on. I'm stopping and starting again.
Oh my god.
Oh,
We
geez.
Holy
We made a mistake, and
moly!
now we fixed our
are
mistake. I believe that we
live.
fixed
Are we?
it. I think we're live, man. I think we are. Let me
Oh
check.
my god. Oh
I'm
my
waiting on
god.
something to load
Yep.
right now.
Oh my goodness, that's us.
Oh my God, that's us. Go ahead and share it.
Me and my
buddy.
two friends. I'm going to.
You and what army, bud?
All right.
Jeez. I'm just trying to figure out if we're live on everything. But it says we are live on. I don't know. It says we're offline on everything on my. Nope. It says we're online on Facebook. We're online on Periscope. We're online on YouTube, and we're online
I
on
think
Twitch.
we're online.
We're online.
How
Hey,
do we get it to stream on a big billboard in Times Square?
you gotta.
Gotta talk to my buddy Mike.
Yeah, he lives in the alley.
Bloomberg.
Oh. That mic. I thought you were talking about the other mic. It's cool.
Oh, the
Oh,
Alley
hang
Mike?
on.
I got two mics in my life.
Yeah, no.
Alley
Alley
mic.
mic and Bloomberg mic.
It would be funny if we GoFunded me enough money to stream a full hour of Homerphilia on a Times Square billboard, but we did not treat it like a special occasion. We just did a regular.
Yeah, that would be great. That's what I'm into. That's what I aspire to.
If I somehow got a lot of money, that would be one of the first things that I did is buy like a Super Bowl ad of just me sipping fancy whiskey in a big fancy chair for 30 seconds and nothing else.
I'm getting incredibly infuriated by the fact that Devin, your screen keeps changing sizes on our stream. And I keep readjusting it, and it keeps rechanging again. You guys want to start the audio for the actual podcast?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I think we should.
All right, cool. Fuck you, you fuck. Sorry, it just did it again.
Oh no!
Now Andy yours did it. What the hell is going on, everybody?
I don't know.
All right, hey. So everybody, anybody who's watching at home, essentially, pretty much what we do is we do a podcast, and then when we do that podcast, then we talk about The Simpsons, and that's it. All right. Well, we're gonna start right now. This is just we've been sharing the stream and letting you all know that we're doing this stuff. So what's going to happen now is we are going to start the audio that will be the actual podcast that is released on Homerphilia. So without further ado, we are going
Further
to
ado about nothing.
Yeah, exactly. 5, 4, 3,
3,
2,
2, 1. Listening to Homerphilia, a Simpsons saga. My name is Devin Rosenine. I'm here with my co-host Andy Reid and engineer Darren Shelton.
Shut up! Why are you getting so professional? You gone corporate, dude. That's not how we do things here. And
all you've ever wanted is for me to introduce
the
this
most
show.
Homerphilia episode we've watched so far. There's blood. There's like
this is the most Homerphilia Simpsons episode.
It really
far.
is.
I was losing my mind.
I'm excited to talk about this episode because I really loved this episode. We had blood. Okay, so essentially, I just want to get into the medical side of it because we always start with a medical thing, and there's a medical thing in the show. Burns is dying, and he needs a blood transfusion from a little boy.
As soon as they said that Bart also had 00 negative blood and that he was the only person that could give it to him, I wrote down in my notes, "Young blood. The Simpsons did it first."
Yes, they did.
Also, hypohemia is great. Too little blood.
Yeah,
too little blood. Yes.
I'm a fucking hypohemiac.
As a fellow hypohemiac, because of my struggles with my doctor. Devin's brother, Dr. Revan Rose, and I fully respected and understood Mr. Burns's plight in this episode.
Yeah, you got mixed up in a little boy blood scheme where you were getting all your little boy blood taken right out of you, stolen from you.
Yeah, and for a few months there, at the end of 2019, Dr. Rose and I was replacing my young boy blood with very old person blood, and that was having really adverse effects. You know how like Elon Musk gets like some blood from a young like a
Yeah.
hot 18-year-old guy, and he's all like, ugh.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real.
Oh wow.
Same with Peter Thiel.
Peter Thiel loves to inject himself
Loves
with
little boy
18-year-old
blood.
hot 18-year-old virile
Hot,
fucking
stinky little blood.
6-pack blood. He gets it right out of one of the 6-packs.
Now, Andy, I heard when you started taking old people blood, you were going to dinner at 3 p.m. You were watching Matlock.
I was wearing my pants at my nipples.
You did start to agree with Clint Eastwood.
Yes, and I did, because of him, kind of start to talk to empty chairs. I did start to like my peas really mushy. Like I don't like a snap and a pea at all.
You did say, Devin, do you want to go get dinner? And I was like, yeah. And you said, cool, 3 p.m. And then you special ordered a bunch of mushy peas.
Mm. And that was it.
And that was it.
Yeah. I like liver and onions now, but not too spicy. And I can only drink coffee if it's like medically unsafe for me to drink because of how hot it is.
You like to drink coffee, but for 80 cents at a McDonald's at about 11 a.m. with 4 of your old friends.
Yeah, we sit at a booth and we talk about the old times, and we don't leave for hours until one of us makes a mess in the booth and has to clean ourselves up.
I love senior citizen coffee.
Me too. And you know, until I started getting these old person blood injections, I really didn't understand shuffleboard. I really get that now. I really get yelling at the TV about how things used to be better a long time ago.
You did say that you started to have memories that you previously did not have. Like the blood gave you memories of another life.
Yes,
Can you expand on that a little?
I now have the memories of myself and a guy named Morton Solomon. He's the man I took his blood. I did somehow acquire his memories. I will just say right now, the guy was a sexual Olympian, and all of that is in my head now.
I was afraid you were going to say deviant.
No, he just just marathon level sexual activity from this man. See, that's.
Are you saying he could have sex while running 26 miles?
Yes. Yeah. He one time ran 26 miles while having sex.
Wow, the marathon.
The thing we don't really remember about baby boomers is they were also alive in the 60s. So as like crotchety and old and ornery and stupid and rude as they are now, they also had sex in the mud.
Turns out you can have sex in the mud and also vote for human rights issues.
Yeah, you like that. That's to their credit, to the baby boomers' credit. They have, at one part of their lives, rolled around in the mud and had sex during Jimi Hendrix concerts, and then voted to systematically destroy everything that made their lives so easy to begin with.
Right.
So hats off to them.
Yep, pants off to them.
Pants off, dance off.
Do you remember the show Pants Off, Dance Off?
I remember the
Fuse?
words. I don't remember why I remember them. What was that?
It was a show where it was on late at night on Fuse, and people would just dance and take their clothes off.
It was pants off. It's called. Isn't that just stripping? Isn't that just being a stripper?
Yeah.
But only
But it was
pants.
fun.
It was fun and not sad.
Yeah.
It was a variety show where
Okay.
people would dance to popular music, and you could win money on it, I think, as well.
Oh, it was
So
like a
back,
game show.
yeah, in the early 2000s, we had shows where people danced and took clothes off, and now we have shows where people do music and put funny masks on, and that's what entertainment is now. I
Wow.
love it. Masked Singer.
Wow.
The hosts of Pants Off, Dance Off First season, Tila Tequila.
Really?
Okay.
Second season, Jodie Sweetin, who plays Stephanie Tanner on Full House.
Oh,
Wow.
thank you.
Whatever happened to
Tila Tequila?
Tila Tequila? Yeah.
Whatever happened to
Mysteries. The newsman, the cable boy, even
his name
TV.
TV? I thought you were doing a bit, Darren.
What happened to TV? Tila, Mrs. Tequila, the last I heard from her, she got booked at the Gathering of the Juggalos, and she had to leave amidst a firestorm of projectiles that were being launched at her from the audience, or she feared for her safety because the Juggalos didn't appreciate her being at their festival.
Why was she booked? Like, what was the?
I don't know.
She subsequently received negative attention for her support of Hitler, as well as anti-Semitic and white nationalist comments, which led to her expulsion from Celebrity Big Brother. I'm on her Wikipedia page, baby.
Tila Tequila is pro-Hitler?
Yeah, I guess so.
Holy fuck.
That's
That is wild.
I did not see that twist coming.
No.
Yeah, she's a vicious anti-Semite. The bisexual reality star said that Ben Shapiro should be gassed and sent back to Israel. Oof.
Whoa.
Ooh, boy, Tila Tequila is a wild woman.
Yeah, that's not something you want to be on. That's not something you want to be on the record saying.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
What is something you want to be on the record as saying, and say it on the record?
Oh, somebody in the chat says, "Is anyone watching this?"
That's a good question. Someone is. You are.
And they're mad at me for ignoring their question because they're the only person here on Twitch.
Who is it? What is
On
that?
Twitch?
I don't know. It's somebody's name. My laser, I'm a firing is their name. Hi.
What was their question?
Is anyone watching this?
Oh, that was their question?
Yeah,
That was their question?
I think they're being facetious or rude. Or genuinely wondering.
No, I like to make people feel bad for doing stuff and having nobody appreciate it too. when I see people attempting stuff and seeing nobody appreciate it, I really like to point them out.
Just lay into them. Make them feel bad about whatever they're doing.
Yeah, that's my shit, dude.
No.
I love to make sure that people know that what they're doing is shouting into a void and dying alone. Thank you so much, Mr. Laserdick, or whatever your name was.
Also, they asked their question at 7:10.
Oh, what's with the Homer theme? Oh, we talk about The Simpsons. So we watched genuinely we watch a Simpsons episode every week, and then we talk about it, but we also just kind of talk about whatever the hell we feel like talking about. So we watched.
We're three guys that can't get enough of each other.
We watched the episode season 2 episode 22 today. What was it called today?
Season finale.
Blood Feud. It was the season 2 finale we watched. It was a good episode. So essentially what happened in this episode is Mr. Burns got sick from not having enough blood, and he needed a blood transfusion from Bart Simpson, which has got us on this tangent of talking about how Andy gets old people blood supplements, which has led to him hanging out at McDonald's and drinking senior citizen coffee. So that's the Homer theme. We're talking about Simpsons.
Now, Darren, you had the opposite problem where you had too much blood.
Yeah.
And it was by a lot, about 3 or 4 times as much blood as a normal person should have. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah.
You had like 60 or 70 gallons of blood, right?
Right. So I got a couple of those rain drums, in my basement, and I go down there and I got this little it's a valve, and it's installed. It's in my nose, and I put a little tube up there, and I go to my rain barrel, and I twist it just right, and then I release some of the blood into my.
So you treat your body like a maple tree,
right? Exactly, right, and it's cool too because there's that much blood. The water consistency of it is a little low, so it's super thick blood. Also,
hell yeah.
And would you put it on pancakes?
Would I put it on pancakes, buddy? I do put it on pancakes.
You know what I like?
What do you like?
It's good. A nice thick blood.
I agree with you. I couldn't agree more, actually.
Honestly, brother, the thicker the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh,
Jell-O.
hey, okay. So, Laser, you found this through the Longmont Potion event last Friday. That's awesome. Yeah, we've done a couple events with them, and it's a ton of fun. Yeah, so we are Planet Ant is the organization that we're representing on this channel. So we are all across the board. We do all kinds of stuff. So there's the Longmont Potion Castle call event that was last Friday. That was sponsored by the Independent Comedy Club, which is when we are open and not in quarantine. We have 4 stages at Planet Ant. We have a stand-up comedy specific.
Some say 4 stages for one place is too many stages.
Yeah, not us. That's not what we
us.
say. So we have I mean, the point of the story is we do theater, we do all kinds of different events, we do film, we do comedy, we do improv, we do stand up, blah blah blah,
Stage
all
4
of that
comedy.
fun stuff. So
Darren,
hang
Darren, what would you say is the naughtiest thing that we've ever put on one of our stages?
the naughtiest thing.
Yeah.
There was a dude who pierced underneath his muscle tissue with giant metal rods in his underwear, and that fucked me up. He also I don't remember what it was part of, but he also let you staple money to him as long as he got to keep the money, which was also super fucking weird.
That was that weird like avant-garde art show where that like woman drenched herself in blood and stuff.
Right. I don't really remember what the
of all the local artists that we've mentioned on the show, he's number one.
I don't remember what the context of that was, but this dude like straight up was putting I mean he pierced like all over his body with different things, and it was.
What would you say is the most wholesome show we've ever put out?
Puppet show for kids for sure. There was this Russian puppet show. It's like the Russian version of the Gingerbread Man, but it's about like a butterball boy. And he runs around and he like outsmarts a wolf and a bear and a fox. But it was definitely like the puppet show for kids is for sure the most wholesome.
Was that one for that puppet show for the Jewish holiday? What was that?
That's Purim.
You know what I'm talking about?
That was the holiday of Purim, which that was not that, but that was pretty wholesome also. Which is
that was wholesome.
Yeah, that
was cute.
That's another cool event. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've done everything.
I'll go on the record and say that I will. You can staple money to me as long as I get to keep it.
I would let you know,
but
that
no coins, just
no
bills.
coins. I was gonna say I got
only checks for me. You can. You can't. I don't want any paper money because that who knows where that's been.
So Devin gets.
I don't want that.
Devin gets checks. You get, or Devin gets cash. You get checks. And what do I get? Like money orders.
Like anything that has been buried at sea for a while.
Okay, cool. Because
doubloons.
Right. Because of my background in maritime law.
Yeah. Anything that is yours if you find it at the bottom of the ocean.
Right. I got it. Finders keepers.
Which there was some treasure talk in this episode that was very funny to me. The way Homer was like, I promised my boy one simple thing, lots of riches.
Yeah.
You made me break my promise.
I thought it was hilarious, this episode. I really, really liked this episode a lot. I don't even know why. It was right off the bat. I mean, there was a couple good like montages that I really enjoyed. Like, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but later on when they're jumping through the mall to try and find a gift, I fucking was dying during that.
Yeah,
there was something at the beginning too that I really liked, and I don't remember what it was now. So what was how did this episode start completely? Oh, the sign. The sign was great at the very beginning, at the top. The sign was so good, where it just kept saying it was the emergency threat sign. And then they thank Burns for his contribution by
lifting its completion.
Lifting his legal challenges. Allowing it to be completed.
That was very funny.
But then it goes through and it's like showing the different warnings that it could warn you about, and then it says nuclear core explosion, and then Homer laughs and goes, ha, if there was a nuclear core explosion, the sign wouldn't have electricity, which is a good fucking joke. That whole segment
love-
was good. But so
I will say, Darren,
yes,
you're the one uninitiated Simpsons person on this podcast. This episode has one of the like top 10 most memorable Simpsons jokes of all time, I would say. And uh we'll get there at the end because I think it is my favorite line of the episode.
great.
But one of the lines that gets quoted the most and is like highlighted in Simpsons montages and stuff all the time is in this episode.
Oh man, I don't know what it was.
I'll show you later.
Damn.
No spoilers.
So they go and they unveil this sign, and the whole thing is that Burns is not there. And then Smithers is all worried because Burns is never late. And then they cut to Burns laying on his back saying, turn over. And he's like, had fallen out of bed. Which then we find out he had, what was it? Hypohemia, which is simply, Dr. Hibbert says, it's simply a lack of blood.
And then I love Smithers being like, God damn it, I know what hypohemia means.
How long will it take to sterilize the needle? Oh, don't bother.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a good bit too. Like they had,
I love Smithers. It's always funny. It's always funny when Smithers is willing to sacrifice himself for Burns,
dude.
But when he finds out he can't donate, he says, "God," he goes, "Damn this common gutter blood of mine," which I'm stealing that word for
gutter
sure.
blood rocks.
Gutter blood is my new favorite word.
I love how much of a yes man Smithers is. Like and everything that he does. I love when he's like, I want to dictate my my epitaph. And then, like, as Burns is talking, Smithers is just like, like matter-of-factly just agreeing with every ridiculous...
while he's dictating the epitaph, he refers to himself as Master of the Atom.
Yeah, Master of the Atom. Tyrant of the Despot. Like, he's just saying, like... He's like,
Patriot, American patriot.
Which,
patriot, like... American patriot.
They did a good job in this episode.
American patriot.
They did a good job of mirroring themselves in this episode, because later Homer dictates a letter that Bart writes, which is, you know, it kind of is self-referential, which again, like this episode rolled, which I love. Like we know what I'm looking for in an episode is fucking jokes per minute, lots of laughter, and then an element of heart. And I really thought that there was this is a good episode for me. I really loved it. I
just love blood and thinking about blood and different kinds of blood.
He's better, and he's like kicking ass at highlight.
Yeah, he's like doing flips on the highlight court.
Flips on the highlight court, and then he's like, you know what, Smithers? I've tried every tincture and mixture and potion, anything I could get my hands on, and all that I needed was the blood of a young boy. That's like quintessential Burns right there,
dude. It was okay. So one of my favorite bits in this whole episode is they're going through another really good super fast moment was Homer goes home and he's like, what kind of blood do I have? And she says A positive or whatever, and then they say it's your duty to know. It's a mother's duty to know everything about the family, and then they're just like riddling off all kinds of different things, like what am I allergic to? Butterscotch and imitation butterscotch, and she just goes through over and over again. And I thought that was
very funny to me. How are you allergic to butterscotch and imitation?
I thought that was hilarious. But then we find out that Bart has 00 negative blood, which is what he needs. So Homer brings Bart to give blood. One of my favorite bits in
00 negative sounds like a James Bond movie.
It does. What kind of blood do you guys have?
Ooh, 00 negative would be the James Bond movie where his bad guy is his clone.
Ooh, there you go.
But he's James Bond, but he's like but he's got like a pencil thin
Bad.
mustache.
Right.
And he's bad. But then they're both the same and they have the same skills.
And he
then-
ties people to train tracks to get run over.
Yes.
Yeah. And they know when one's gonna punch and how they kick and stuff and what weapons they use because they're the same person. But like
and they're
maybe
like, the name's
like-
Bond, James Bond.
The
No,
other
I'm
guy's-
James Bond. No, I'm James Bond.
No. Yeah, he's like Bond, James Bond, and then the other guys he's like James Bond, James Bond, James. And then they fight, and then maybe like one's got like a blue suit with a gray tie, and the other one's got a gray suit with a blue tie, and they fight.
And then they have to go to opposite James Bond world and opposite
Yeah.
James Bond Britain.
Where the bad one's the good one, and the good one's the bad one, and opposite.
Think about it.
Dude, we got to get Daniel Craig on the phone like right now.
We're just doing a link to the past, James Bond.
Oh.
Do we have access to Daniel Craig?
Yeah, my people know his people.
Who are your people again?
Me.
My publicist
Yeah, me. This is me.
is this guy I know, Darren.
It's just me.
I think I have
then
the same mailman as Daniel Craig, so I'll check.
Yeah, it's me.
My agent
Yeah.
told me that his best friend's client is Daniel Craig.
Right.
So
Yeah.
My
Incredible.
agent is a guy named Darren.
Yes.
You know what I
It's
noticed
me.
in this episode that I've never in my entire history of watching the show
Right.
since I was a young boy.
What?
There, in the opening credits when Marge has Maggie at the grocery store,
Yes.
and she like scans her, the fucking People magazine in the grocery aisle, the title of it is called Feeble.
It's called
I
Feeble.
noticed that. People
shit.
magazine and Simpsons is called Feeble, like feeble-minded.
I talked to Daniel Craig's
Oh.
wife on the phone one time. I'm now remembering.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no. She was the one. She was Rachel Weisz from The Mummy. I talked to her on the phone once. when I
married?
Yeah.
Now, what did you talk to Rachel Weisz about?
She was calling an office I worked at when I was interning at a development company. We were working on something she was working on.
Oh. And is that the most famous person you ever on the phone?
I talked to Yorma Taccone on the phone one time.
Oh, of The Lonely Island?
Yeah, Rachel Weisz is more famous than Yorma Taccone. I don't know why I'm saying that.
Probably.
Uh,
The Mummy had a big influence on me.
it taught you that sometimes a bunch of bugs live in triangles.
My biggest fear is that bugs burrow into my skin.
Right.
Uh,
yeah, and you can always see the little dot where they are.
That's my greatest strength.
I just fundamentally refuse
I'll be right
to
back.
ever unbury a casket because of that movie.
Were you planning on it until you saw that movie?
Yes. There's a big rumor
That's
in
kinda
my
cool.
there's a big rumor in my hometown. I'm from Muskegon, Michigan, greatest town in the world. There's a big rumor that that R.W. Muskegon, the founder of our town, was buried with 400 pounds of gold. And my plan was to unveil it and become rich.
Right.
But then I watched that movie and I never, because what if it's cursed?
Grave robbing is usually a bad thing, correct?
It depends on
That's
who
what
you
they
ask.
say.
Oh.
But it's only bad because they're cursed.
Right.
You
A
know, like-
lot of graves are
You
cursed.
you can rob from people all you want. They can't curse you. But as soon as you rob from the dead have curses. That's where you get fucked up.
Are you getting cursed
Yeah.
right now? Have you been cursed recently?
Have I been cursed?
Yeah, or do you plan on cursing anyone
Yeah,
after?
I mean, there was this time, like before the whole lockdown thing, there was this time where I was walking down the street with my friends, and we walked past this little booth with an old lady that was wearing like rags, and like she had like really long fingernails, and like her hair was all messed up and stuff, and she was like, "I'll tell your future," and everybody was like making fun of her because like, how do you know that stuff? And I like made fun of her a bunch, and I like pushed a bunch of stuff off her table, and then she was like, "You're gonna be cursed. You're gonna be forced into solitude. Everyone you know and love, their lives will change forever.
You did this.
A wide swath of death and famine passing through the entire country and world, and all you had to do was apologize, and I could make this stop. But if you walk away right now, the world will change forever for the worse, and we might never make it out alive." All this bullshit and whatever. Like 2 weeks after that, the whole world shut down because of COVID. I don't know if they're. I mean, I don't know.
Andy,
what?
You need to apologize to that woman.
Oh, she was just. You think?
I think what you need to do, based on some research that I've done on this kind of thing, is you need to go to a special detention camp for kids where you're forced to do labor, and then run away with her grandson, and then carry her grandson up a mountain that looks like a thumb and eat onions with him, and that will lift the curse.
Oh, and you're talking about the Garbage Pail Kids movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that reference. Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf in the Garbage Pail Kids. Yeah, you need a Garbage Pail Kids, her grandson.
I haven't taken it out of the plastic wrap, but another pre-coronavirus memory of mine is buying the Garbage Pail Kids movie on DVD from Kroger for $2.
Oh, speaking of movies, I'll be right back.
We should do an episode of Homerphilia about the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Darren?
Yes.
What do you think?
I was distracted by my cat. I think that I have not seen that movie, so I would be down to
really?
Watch that. Yes,
it's a bunch of gross puppets.
I'm aware of what they are, but they're just puppets.
I remember watching it when I was a kid.
Okay.
And all I remember is that they sing a song about like working, like we can do anything by working with each other.
Right.
What
we
got
more.
Like,
we got more.
Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald, Scared Silly.
That's great.
We now have a double feature.
So as soon as the world reopens in like fucking August or whenever it is, we'll watch a double feature of Ronald McDonald live, and like Andy said, we'll allow anybody who wants to talk in the mic. We'll have a community mic.
Our first episode after all of this is going to be a live episode at Ant Hall where we watch these stupid fucking Ronald McDonald tapes, and there's just a mic on stage, and whoever wants to come be a guest for however long just walks up and takes the mic. Yeah. I'm assuming that this episode is going to be like 8 or 9 days long.
Yeah.
Easily.
It's going to be a good one. Dude, so in this app,
I am not going to leave the stage for the duration of it. I will be pissing and shitting
in a bucket
and eating in a bucket.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So in this episode, one of the things that I really
yes, I am eating and pissing and shitting, and it's all one bucket, and it's in and out.
You guys know me. You guys know I love bits that are rolling and then they just like grind it to a halt real quick.
Oh yeah.
So there was a bit in this episode that I really loved, which is as soon as they get the blood from Bart to deliver to Burns, they have like this assembly line of like it goes in the ambulance, it pulls up really fast outside the hospital, then they're throwing it from person to person, and it gets in the elevator, and the guy who catches it in the elevator is just standing there waiting for the elevator.
Yeah.
And the camera just sits on him, and he kind of whistles and is standing there. And then a few seconds later, he presses the up button. He's like, "Oh!" And then he presses the button, and the elevator door closes. It was a good bit. I really liked that one.
Good bit. Yeah. Watching them.
I don't want I don't want this to happen right now because it's a bad time for it. But in the future, when things calm down, I would love to be in some kind of situation where I have to be part of a tossing a bag of blood assembly line.
Seriously, what kind
make
of
that
wait?
happen.
What kind of blood do you have? Do you got rare blood
Me?
or normal blood? Either of you.
I don't know.
That's not good.
I have no idea what kind of blood I have.
I have double yayo negative.
Double yayo negative.
Double yayo negative.
Yeah.
And that means your blood does not have any yayo in it?
No, it doesn't have any yayo in it at all.
I have double yayo positive blood.
Oh, that's funny.
I have toot positive blood.
Yeah.
I've got teener positive blood.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do, buddy.
My type is double yayo negative.
I am having a hell of a time with this.
Guys, you want to see something cool?
Yeah, let's see something cool.
The glass I'm drinking out of?
It's got Moe's.
Oh, this is a souvenir from the actual Moe's Tavern
When you were a
at
cartoon?
Universal Studios.
At
I
Universal.
went and had a real live Duff beer.
What did it taste like?
It tasted kind of like I don't know if you've heard of the small local Florida brewery Budweiser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just
I think it was
Budweiser?
just like but they also you don't know Darren, you don't know what the Flaming Moe is.
I don't. Also,
but
I don't really know
there's-
very much about what beer tastes like either. So
Yeah. There's a seminal Simpsons episode called Flaming Moe's where Homer makes a alcoholic concoction with like a bunch of different alcohols and purple cough syrup, and then he lights it on fire.
makes sense.
And Moe steals it, and it becomes like a national sensation. They serve Flaming Moe's at this the Moe's Tavern in Universal Studios, but it's not alcoholic and it's not even purple like in the show. It's like it's like Tang. I was deeply disappointed, and they don't even.
And it
let
doesn't have
us-
any cough syrup in it, correct?
It doesn't have any cough syrup in it, which bullshit. I was ready to trip out.
Yeah.
They don't light it on fire, which come on, it's not even the right color, and it doesn't get you loaded. So what is even the point?
I've
Universal
never
Studios?
recreationally used cough syrup, but I think that it should be allowed in theme parks.
Yeah, me too. That seems like the perfect place to do it.
I've got double cough syrup negative blood, so
Double cough set. Have you ever been there? Have we talked about the Universal Studios?
I have not been there. No.
It fucking rules.
Should we go as a podcast
Yes.
and do an episode?
To what?
Maybe that's
Sorry, I left
maybe
again.
That's the catch-up episode. Once we get all the way to the end of the show, we do a big Homerphilia extravaganza where we tell all of our millions of listeners by that point that we're gonna be at the
16 years from now.
Yeah, at the Simpsons exhibit at Universal Studios to do an episode. The ride rules. It's like that was not even like the Simpsons references. The ride is my favorite one at the park.
I totally dug that ride too.
The world around it is the Simpsons. You go to Krusty Burger, you're sitting in the real Moe's. It's awesome.
I was definitely a fan of it when I went, and I was not a Simpsons fan at the time at all.
Yeah. Are you now?
Am I a Simpsons fan now? Yeah, for sure.
Call yourself Simpsons now?
I am Simpsons. Oh, thanks, Von Wink. This episode is a lot better than the episode you put on a few weeks ago. Thanks, guy. I really appreciate it.
Which one?
Hell yeah.
The one where we were on the same couch. Because we're talking about the Simpsons this time. Is the reason.
Oh, one vote for we're actually talking about the Simpsons.
Yeah, I think that's why this person Von Wink likes it.
There was a part where Homer was trying to figure out what to do if Mr. Burns was coming after him because of the letter he wrote.
Yeah.
And he's like bargaining with Marge. He's like, you take the kids and go live with your sisters, and I'll die in the gutter because it's practical and within our means, which phenomenal.
Yeah. That's how I feel every day, buddy.
So do you think this guy writing in, of our listeners, how many people that listen to this show are really upset for the first 40 minutes and are just here to listen to our Simps talk?
Yeah, I would love some input on that. Do you think that we are doing the right thing or the wrong thing? You can ask us questions too.
And
Chat.
when do you know when the right thing and the wrong thing are the same? And what song is that a lyric from? Isn't that like Jason Mraz or some shit like that?
Probably.
So, but honestly, I think the three of us have talked about it, that one of my goals for this show was to get to an audience level where we started to get complaints about not talking about The Simpsons anymore.
Right, and so we got one now.
This right now here in this moment is a big step in the evolution of the Homerphilia podcast.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Finally getting there where people are like, when are they gonna get to The Simpsons?
Dude, I was in this episode I was looking I don't know what it was. It was one of the scenes in the kitchen. I was like scoping out the stuff in the background. There's weird drawings and weird stuff on that bulletin board. And just like weird stuff on their counters, and I don't know what it is. I don't what is the criteria for artwork in the Simpsons household? Is my question to you guys.
Are you talking about what's on the fridge?
In this episode on the fridge was like a weird stick figure drawing, but then there was a weirdo picture of Bart on the bulletin board with like a note that just said pizza.
Pizza rocks.
Pizza does rock.
Pizza
I'll
does
give you that.
rock. Top 5 favorite foods.
Pizza.
That purple mash stuff that the Simpsons always eat at dinner. Just that mush and purple pile. That's my second favorite food. But yeah, I think artwork in the house. The sailboat's always the same in the living room. They always have pictures of the kids along the stairwell.
Right.
I never really track what's on the fridge, but it is always like the kids' schoolwork and shit.
Yeah. I loved in this episode, I loved the whole Lisa Maggie thing going on in the background where Lisa's trying to teach Maggie stuff.
Yeah.
Like dodecahedrons and like all these flashcards.
I liked when she was trying to teach her what a dodecahedron is, and Homer goes, "I don't know what you're doing, but it's very strange, and your father's trying to worry."
Yeah.
He was just laying on the couch worrying, and he needed her to shut up so he could continue to worry.
Like Lisa is resentful that she did not have access to some of this information, so she is teaching Maggie like what a zebu is.
Yeah.
Is a zebu a real thing?
Yeah. That is the most passive-aggressive move I've ever heard. Like, hey, mom, I am fully aware of the depth of my lack of education. So just to let you know, I'm going to make sure that Maggie doesn't have to go through that.
When Burns is giving Bart the statue of Exotic and he's talking about Olmec, and Maggie holds up the Aztec book. And Lisa's like, no, Olmec, not Aztec.
That was a funny bit.
There's another episode in the future where Lisa tries to teach Maggie stuff with cards, and Maggie gets too good at it, and Lisa gets very self-conscious about her own intelligence. I can't remember like how late in the series that is, but that is something that she does again. That head, the Olmec head, Darren, will repeatedly make appearances throughout the rest of the show. It gets stuffed into the corner of their basement, and you can see it. You can see it in a bunch of different episodes from here on forward.
in the basement.
Which Olmec head do you like better, Simpsons Olmec head or Legends of the Hidden
Legends
Temple?
of the Hidden
Legends of the Hidden Temple
I
for
agree.
sure.
Because that one talks.
Dude, I always like whenever I watch that, like I could have killed that show, dude.
Okay, Darren, you want good trivia? I found this out last week.
Let's
The
do it.
voice of Olmec is the dude who voiced Momo and Appa in The Last Airbender.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw that in an interview. D. Bradley Baker.
Do you
so,
you're watching the Last
DBB?
Airbender right now?
DBB? Well, I did just watch it.
All the way through?
Yeah.
You got the DVDs or something?
Yeah.
Dude, send them my way. I want to watch that.
Oh, hell
stuff
yeah.
again. That's my favorite.
I watched Korra as well.
Is
Miranda
Korra,
and I watched both of them.
is Korra any good?
It rocks. It's not as good as The Last Airbender, and the seasons are more uneven. It's not as cohesive of a journey, but it is very enjoyable.
Dude,
There are some
Last
really good
Airbender has one of the best just start to finish narratives of like any cartoon ever.
Dude, Korra has a great two-part episode where Steven Yen
Yeah.
voices the first Avatar.
Yeah.
Fucking
I
rocks.
didn't really get it until M. Night Shyamalan like kind of really put it together.
It made it make sense.
Yeah, it really all like I figured out what was going on, man.
Yeah, just take all
I
the
went to go see that at midnight the night it came out, and everyone was so excited for that movie. And as the credits came up, the whole audience stood up and booed.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's just like
Hell
let's
yeah.
take a story that people love and then take all the fun out of it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do, which is what they did.
Listen, what I want
We're
from
not
my movies-
Ma Laser, we
what-
are not going to talk about South Park on this podcast. It is not something we're going to do. I'm sorry. That's
what
where
is-
we draw the
what-
line.
what park in
Yeah.
it's south of where?
South of where?
What park is he talking about? It's south
where?
of where?
Where?
See, the thing about The Last Airbender, the movie
Right.
that I like, is that I want my movies to be utterly lacking in any sort of fun or
Right.
joy or inspiration. I want a movie to be a joyless slog.
Yeah.
If I find out that The Legend of Grimace Island has even a little bit of joy or fun, or if I find out that Scared Silly is even a little bit adventurous, I'm going to fucking freak out. I want this to be a compulsive, joyless nightmare.
Yeah.
I agree
Yes.
with you.
That you wake up from and you say, I learned something today.
Oh, if I catch a little bit of mirth or jolly fun in The Legend of Grimace Island, I'm going to go ape shit. Absolutely
Not in my
bananas.
movies.
No.
I don't want any mirth or joy. No.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, buddy.
Now, which part do you guys think we're going to be more leaning towards, the scared part or the silly part? Because I, for one, I'm thinking more of the scared because the silly seems close to joy, but I could go either way.
Now, for me, I'm not so much looking to get scared silly. In my life, want to get more earnest, scared, stupid.
Have we talked about how supposedly Ernest and Freddie Mercury slept together?
I don't
What?
think that we have talked about
Yeah,
that.
apparently, what's his name? Jim Varney?
Jim Varney.
Jim Varney and Freddie Mercury slept together. That is like
Hell
an
yeah.
unsubstantiated rumor, but that is believed to be true. So, fucking rocks.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's like two worlds that just do not seem like they overlap at all.
what? Wait, what about those two worlds don't make sense? Because one, you have international glam rock, and the other one, you have a series of children's movies based on Seven Up commercials. So
that's what struck me. I don't remember the commercials that well, but like they were apparently, I watched like a video about it. They were shooting like they could shoot like 40 of those commercials a day, and it was not only for one brand. Like Ernest would do commercials for whatever the fuck. Yeah. And like local markets, like hyper local stuff too. So it'd be like local cable company, whatever.
He's from like Nashville or something like that. And it started as him doing that character for like a local real estate agency or some shit. I'm glad to hear that he could shoot 40 of something in a day, because me too, brother.
You can shoot 40 big loads.
Yeah, dude, you know it. You know it.
I'm looking up Ernest stuff right now. Ernest Goes to Camp was written by someone named Coke Sams.
Hell yeah.
Coke space SAMS. Coke Sams.
I'm really good friends with his brother, Pepsi Sam's.
There was a TV show called Hey Vern, It's Ernest.
Yeah, and they won like Emmys.
Rocked.
They won Emmys, or at least one Emmy.
Ernest did?
Yeah, it was like commercials and then a show and then movies. I liked those movies when I was a kid, all of them. There's one where it's like that movie Like Mike, but before, where he gets shoes and he's really good at basketball. And there's one where he goes to prison, and Scared Stupid was always my favorite one, the Halloween one.
Right.
But then there's ones that I've never seen. There's like a cowboy one that I've never seen, and there's one that's unfortunately called Ernest Goes to Africa that I've never seen. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, I can't imagine that that's
I
cohesive to
Ernest
today's
Goes to Africa
society.
is anything but mortifying to watch.
I bet it rocks.
I believe that was the last one they ever did, which means that it.
Yeah,
Probably
it was
wasn't
shot
much
in
movie.
Johannesburg, South Africa. I wonder if it's before or after apartheid was dismantled.
I think that the movie posits that Ernest ended apartheid.
I'm reading the description. Here's just a little tidbit from Ernest Goes to Africa.
No.
Ernest puts his fighting skills and yo-yo skills together and does an around the world which knocks Thompson out cold and breaks the yo-yo to reveal the eye of Igoli. Sick.
Oh, no.
The tribe rushes towards them. Yeah, no, this probably isn't good.
No, it's probably bad. It's probably very, very bad and not good.
Thank you, though, for putting...
We will do this for the Patreon only episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is interesting because this is something that we are going to have to tackle as Homerphiles at some point. Darren, you have not been.
I thought we agreed on Homerphiliacs. I thought that we were not going with Homerphiles. I really thought that we talked about this.
Homerphiliacs. We, as the Homerphiliacs, are going to have to broach these topics at some point. You don't know this, Darren, but eventually they develop a long-standing tradition of episodes where the Simpsons go to a different country,
and it's just super racist.
And every single time they do it, they piss off the actor.
Are they still doing that to this day? Like, do they still do it in the new seasons?
The last one I know that happened, that aired, they went to Israel, and Israel hated it. They've been to Brazil, and Brazil hated it. They've been to
Australia hated it.
Australia hated their episode. Japan,
Ireland hated it.
Yes. So there are at least 15.
When's the most recent one, like chronologically? Like when did they do that?
I don't know.
Are they still actively doing this?
Simpsons Go to New York is coming up soon,
right?
And
now that one, Homer versus New York City, is in season 4, I think. That's in season 4. That is like an all-timer.
That's one of the first Simpsons go-to episodes.
I mean, we haven't really left Springfield. I mean, we went to the forest with the bear episode. We went to...
Once they start to go to different countries, there is some really, really touchy shit that happens in those countries.
I can't imagine that it's... I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
No, Simpson. Homer versus New York City is an all timer.
We're gonna get to that
One
in
of my
like what, like a year from now,
Yeah.
or 6 months from now, something like that.
No, that's in season 4. So yeah, like we're doing 2 a week. We'll be there in a couple months.
We should try and finish Homerphilia before the quarantine's out.
You guys want to just
All
move?
right.
You guys want to just move? You guys can just move into my house and we'll just do it nonstop.
Sounds good.
It's just
Yeah.
live
I'm
stream. We'll
sure-
start our own live stream
sure
channel, and it's
If
just it's like there's always somebody on watch kind of style stream.
if I explain to my wife why we're doing it, I think that it would be fine.
And why would that reason be? How would you explain that to her?
Because it's important for society.
Yes.
You know, it's bigger than the two of us. It's for the world. I mean, like we invented podcasts. People are looking
Right.
to us
Right.
for.
People are begging us for more content.
They are begging us. I've heard them beg.
I really loved in this episode that bit of the family trying to wrap things up.
Dude, that is my favorite part of this episode, 100%.
When they're like Marge is practically begging to find a moral to the story,
Yeah.
and she's tossing out this and that.
Oh,
and
it was
this
great.
and that.
What? So then
And
it was
Lisa's like, maybe the moral is there is no moral. And Homer goes, yeah, it's just a bunch of stuff that happened. That is a great joke.
It's a nice reminder that we are abjectly alone in this world.
Yeah.
There is no guiding force. It's like you can look back on it and try to ascribe some meaning to it, but really, just a bunch of stuff happened. And that's what's happening with this disease in the world right now. There's no guiding force. No one's learning anything.
There's no moral. There's no learned lesson.
No one's helping us. We're just
us.
alone in the universe, and a disease is overtaking us, and it's just a bunch of stuff that happened.
And Homerphilia is your home for feeling good about yourself and getting away from this stuff for a while. And we just want you to know that you're alone in the world and you're good. You're gonna stay that way.
And there's nothing after this.
Nope.
There's nothing after this.
You know what it was like before you were born? That's gonna be what it's like after.
Yeah. Just your gentle reminder that you'll probably end up being burned as a corpse with 300 different people in one big pit.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
That's the way I want to go out. I don't need my remains to be treasured by my family. I just want to be dumped into a big pit.
I've been recently talking about something called a kiss pit, which is a pit you would dig specifically for kissing in. But now it is more likely that I will be ending up in a death pit, which is kind of a bummer. If I had to choose, I'd pick the kiss pit over the death pit.
Yeah, given my druthers, I'd rather kiss than die.
You'd rather kiss than die.
And if you guys had to have a special pit just for one activity, what would you guys pick? I feel like a comedy pit would be fun. A big pit you dig, and then you go do comedy in it.
That would be cool.
Now what's that like doing comedy?
Yeah, right.
I wonder. Is there anybody we can ask? Is there anybody in our lives that we can ask?
Did you see? Hey, you know what? Did you see? This is they're putting that Middleditch and whatchamacallit
Yes.
on streaming. They're doing 3 of them. They're putting onto streaming.
They talked about it at the show.
Yeah.
They talked Ben Schwartz had John Ralphio from Parks and Rec has been one of the world's greatest long form improv advocates for a while now. So he's talked about it. I've heard interviews with him where he's talked about his goal in entertainment is to eventually create the Who's Line of long form. Yeah. That's what he wants to do. And the trick is like a lot of that, the magic of watching long form is being in the room while it happens, right? Like you lose. There's a reason why like when I started taking classes and I was listening to podcasts, and I was trying to find whole sets online of the people that I heard doing improv on podcasts, like, you know, Jason Mantzoukas. I want to watch him do improv, but there isn't a full set of Jason Mantzoukas doing improv online because taking it out of the room loses some of its magic. Ben Schwartz, his long-standing improv show in LA is called Snow Pants.
Yeah.
And their conceit is they have their group, and they always invite one celebrity who has no improv experience, and they'll do a long form show with them, and they'll carry that person along. Like they'll have like J.J. Abrams on, and J.J. Abrams will do long form improv with this group. So he's always been experimenting with ways to try to find avenues to make long form more accessible to a wider audience. That Showtime show he was on with Kristen Bell and
House of Loaves.
House of Bread Loaves. They did a long form improv special with the cast of that show, and like Don Cheadle was on that show, so he improvised with them even though he doesn't really have improv experience. Yeah. And that was kind of a hit. But this has been something Ben Schwartz has been trying to do for a long time, so I really fucking hope that people watch that shit. I can't wait to see it. The show we saw in Detroit the weekend before we were told to never see anybody ever again.
Oh God, that was one of our last outings.
That was our last outing.
That was over a month ago.
The next weekend I was gonna see Glamway, and we canceled.
I'm glad we got done with that show and partied really hard after, because it was one of the last opportunities to do so.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that the quarantine started on my birthday, on my 30th birthday.
That's kind of fitting.
Isn't it? Isn't it the most fitting ever? My fucking 30th birthday is the day that everything shuts down in Detroit.
I can't wait till I turn 30 so something good can happen to me.
Yeah, fuck you, buddy. We can have my birthday party when you turn 30.
You heard it here first, folks. In a year and a half, we're doing it.
We're gonna have Darren's 30th birthday party on Devin's birthday.
And then Devin, you can have your 30th birthday party next pandemic.
I love that. I love it. But no, their show was great live. I loved it. Those two guys are really funny. I think that those are going to be great shows.
I'm glad they did it because it commemorates what improv was, and it might be some of the last improv that has ever going to exist.
That will ever be done, ever in the history of the world.
There's a good chance we will never get to do an improv show or see an improv show again. So I'm sorry, glad someone got some video of it.
Yeah, right. But you guys want to? You guys want to head into?
That was the last. What?
Never mind. No. Go for it. Go for it, buddy.
No, I was just like, coming out of their show, I was like, we just watched two people do an hour and a half long improv set, like a movie length improv set, one story, and it captivated 6,000. Like it was a full sold out show, and I left
at the
really
Masonic
inspired.
Temple.
At the Masonic Temple, they like packed it, and people loved it. And then they plugged that Netflix show, and they plugged Detroit Creativity Project.
Oh, really?
That was great.
Awesome.
That was cool. And I left really excited about, like, just this shit's not too esoteric for people. Like,
It made me want to do a duo.
It made me want to put up shows that people want to come see, and then the universe told us to stop doing shows.
Yeah.
But I do hope that comes out, everybody watches it, and it is the start of the next, like, improv, you know. The last time something like that was put into the public sphere was Don't Think Twice, and it was a noticeable uptick in people interested in this, in doing it and seeing it. I'm hoping that,
especially because everyone's home and stir crazy,
Yeah.
so I think people will watch it.
watch it
It would
and
be
then
great if we had a big wave of improv coming after this.
put it in their brain to come and watch it once this is all done. That's my hope.
Amen,
I'm
brother.
excited. We do have favorite joke.
Yeah, I liked the. I'm gonna go with the blood bag bit as the joke that I liked, which was the toss of the urgent getting the 00 negative blood to Mr. Burns. They pull up in an ambulance. They have an assembly line where everybody's throwing the blood bag to the next person, and then it gets to the guy in the elevator, and he sits there waiting for a few seconds, and then realizes he forgot to hit the button. I thought that was a good bit.
My favorite joke is perhaps there is no moral. Yeah, it's just a bunch of stuff that happened.
Yeah, I love that. I love that as a capper on again at this point pointing out that an episode doesn't neatly wrap up or the lesson wasn't learned is kind of a cliche in and of itself. But this is fucking 30 years ago, that
And
stuff.
it's very well explained because they run through several instances of what
So
the moral
many.
could be.
Yeah. But I think my favorite joke, and the one, Darren, that I made reference to earlier as being one of the most one of those clips that is shown over and over again in Simpsons lore, is when so Bart accidentally mails the letter. Homer calms down and he decides he doesn't want to mail the letter, but he takes it off the desk and Bart mails it anyway. So they try to get it out of the mailbox and stuff. They go to the post office and Homer pretends to be Mr. Burns.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, "My name is Mr. Burns. I would like a letter addressed to me." And the guy goes, "Okay, Mr. Burns. And now what is your first name?" And Homer goes, "I don't know." that moment is one of the most iconic Homer moments.
I love that he thinks that he needs to do an accent.
My name is
I loved it
Burns.
so
Mr. Burns, what's your first
much.
name? I don't know. The fact that he does the accent for "I don't know."
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's great.
And that he does a voice that's not Mr. Burns. He just does a different voice.
The
mailman is not gonna know.
It's if you were like, "Homer, what's your idea of a rich person?" He was like, "My name is
Mr. Burns." I liked that they passed a store called Wicked Excess, or maybe that's the one where they bought all my I can't remember. That felt like how my life used to be when I was allowed to have fun.
Ooh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
I like when Smithers is asking about the blood, and he says, "You know what? Just leave me enough to get home."
yeah.
That's just fucking great.
So favorite app?
I'm not changing.
You guys, I'm gonna change. I like this
Whoa!
app. I really like this app. I don't.
Good.
It didn't have the. It was a little bit lacking on the heart that I would normally desire. I definitely think that if we're talking favorite sentimental episode so far, Lisa Substitute's still at the top.
Yeah.
But I think all around episode, this episode it fired. It fired on all cylinders, start to finish.
Did rock.
It was really
good
good. There was nothing really slow. There was no lull. There was no. I mean, I don't have any complaints. I cannot look at this episode and think if they would have done this thing would have been better. I think that this was a good app.
Little tiny moments
Right.
of Homer talking down to the people that are in charge of him, and then Carl going, "Hey man, I'm your supervisor."
Or even there's little moments of also when Bart's dictate or when Homer's dictating the letter to Bart to write, it's one of those moments where they connect as father and son, and it's because they're together talking shit about a rich, powerful boss. Like you can see them. Homer like reaches over and like hugs Bart, and there's these moments of like these nice little heart moments of like also Lisa trying to teach Maggie the things that Lisa couldn't learn. It's like every heart moment in this episode is almost like a either a passive aggressive dig or a joke or a further exploration of this family's dysfunction, which like is so relatable and so funny to me. And there was no unintentional lull. The only lulls in this episode were times that they allowed jokes that needed a little room to breathe. They allowed them to breathe, which is, in my experience of The Simpsons, that's when it is at its best, is when they let these jokes, they work up this rolling laugh tempo, and then they let stuff breathe finally. And it's great. This was a great episode. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Lisa Substitute. But this, it was a good. This was a classic ep.
Yeah.
High quality, good end to season 2.
Yeah.
End of the fucking second season. How
Yeah,
crazy
so
is
we
that?
are now only 30 seasons away from the current season, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Guys, I have to pee.
1/15 of the way. You're peeing at the end? Why don't we just...
Well, while Andy's peeing, what should we talk about?
I've been really going to town on my Animal Crossing town.
How's it looking these days?
What's
your fruit? What's your island's fruit?
My fruit is oranges, but I went around
shit.
the islands. You would see my island that started as a island paradise, and you would be disgusted by it because I have turned it into
it was a meth lab last time I left.
It's very similar to a meth lab now. The only things that I have put out are fish tanks full of animals and barbed wire fence. I have taken what was a peaceful stroll. My beaches are covered in grids of coconut trees. My mainland is covered in grids of orange and pear trees. I have a whole northern peninsula of my island that is just all flowers, so I can catch bugs. I've really taken this thing that's supposed to be a leisureful, fun activity, and I've turned it into something capitalistic and terrible.
Yeah, it is. It is supposed to be a game of leisure.
It's not
I hope you remember that.
It is not that at all. I've paid off 2 home
like
loans.
The episode of Community where Abed like warps the game and makes a little factory farm of babies. You're Abed right now.
Yeah, no, I really am. It's bad. Well,
it is supposed to be a game where you can retire to a little time of the solace of an old island town, as Darren would say. And Darren has turned it into this like compulsive hellscape nightmare.
Are there people watching? Do you want to open up the calls for a while? Or do we want to end it?
There's only a couple people.
Yeah, fuck it.
And I don't have the program open even.
All right.
I know. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
No,
I
we
feel
don't
like I let everybody down. Jeez.
We're gonna do this again on Sunday.
Devin, did your computer die again?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, it looked like you were
just very still.
You were very still. It looked like you froze.
I saw it too.
That's funny. That is funny to me. You were very statuesque there for a second.
Because the last time, it was just like the last.
It was the last frame that was stuck.
Oh, that's great.
That's funny. That's a fun bit.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we do this every Thursday and Sunday for anybody listening, or at least until the time of the coronavirus end.
Yep.
I listened to the podcasts. They were different when we were all in the same room.
Yeah, for sure they were.
Better, and except for the one guy tonight that said it's better now because we're actually talking about The Simpsons.
Yeah. We did a good job today of talking about The
When
Simpsons.
we go off on crazy tangents. That's my favorite shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're Vince Guaraldiing, and sometimes we're Christmas classicing,
And sometimes
you just got to figure out which.
Overlap there, buddy.
Fitzcarraldo, is that what you said? Sometimes you're Fitzcarraldoing.
Yeah,
Andy,
more or less.
sometimes the song "Skating" comes on, and you don't know if you're celebrating Christmas or you're listening to jazz, buddy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. Jeez.
Planet Ant. Ant Hall, Planet Ant. We need help.
We need help.
Yeah, just help.
Help us
Help us!
Please help us.
Help us!
Please help us.
We have Venmo. Venmo at.
I'm
Planet
never gonna
Ants.
miss another Monday night again after this.
I've never missed a Monday night in my whole life.
I can't wait.
Fuck you. That's a good bit.
I can't wait.
I technically have not missed a
No.
single Monday night. in
No,
my whole
you've
life.
seen
You're
every
right.
Monday night, every Monday in your whole
I
life.
want-
You've been there.
what I want what I want from the first Monday night back
Right.
is for the entire community of people that have supported the Ant forever to pack the purple building for the first Monday night back, and the home team is like me and Dave.
That would be great. That would be
You and
fucking
Pete.
great.
Yeah, the home team's me and Pete. Everybody else is that.
Everybody else says, fuck it, dude. Fuck it. Cool. All right. What else we got? We got anything
We
else?
thank some sponsors.
Oh, sponsors. Fuck. Yeah, I got a sponsor. I would like to. Fuck, dude. I'm not gonna name something in the room. Shut up. So I want to thank my sponsor Tom Nook from my Animal Crossing island.
Wow.
He has given me another predatory loan that I'm working very hard to pay off. And it is, let me tell you, when I think I want to have a fun time playing video games, it is doing chores so I can pay off a mortgage. So that's Tom Nook.
I would like to thank our first-time sponsor,
Yeah.
Rose Nye Family Blood Bags. I've given a lot of blood over the last couple months and years, especially after I met Dr. Revan Rosenai, and Rosenai Family Blood Bags have made sure that most of it gets put where it needs to go.
I want to be clear. A lot of those bags did just look like CVS bags, and some of them seem like they
Yeah.
just had holes in the bottom.
Oh
still.
yeah,
They
that's
really
why I
get
said
everywhere.
that's why I said most of it seems to get to
Dude,
where it
okay,
needs to go.
can I go
Because
on
a lot of it spills out.
Can I go on a blood bag tangent really quick, or
Yeah.
are we really? Okay, so I have I have O negative blood, right, which is the universal donor. Okay, this is.
Do you?
I really do. So if shit ever goes down and you need blood, I'm your dude. But because of this, I used to give.
Say that right now.
I used to
Don't-
give. Don't tell people what my blood.
You're the
Come
fucking
from my
plug for
blood. I dare you to steal my blood
it's a
from me.
pandemic right now, dude.
It's
Someone's
okay.
gonna come rob you for your blood.
Great, I will fight them off with my blood. The whole
Funky
point is,
movie where people rob people of their blood. I'm starting that.
dude, that's
script tonight.
every vampire movie ever.
Double O negative.
But
Can I tell
it's
my blood story, please? It's relevant.
Double O negative. Okay, yeah, go on.
So my point is, because of this, I used to give blood a lot because I was like, I'm gonna do my part because I can help people or whatever. I was giving blood one time and something felt weird about it. And you know how you're not really supposed to like look at the blood in the tube or look at the bag because it'll make you like nauseous or whatever.
Yeah.
I was following the tube coming out of my arm, and where it was supposed to be going into a bag, it had come disconnected, and it was just going with my heartbeat and spraying blood on the floor. And as
Hell
I was,
yeah.
but listen to this part. The kicker is, as I was looking at it, my heart started beating faster because it was fucking me up, and it started
Oh, shit.
spraying faster and faster. And then I fainted and I fell off the blood thing.
And then I ran in and started sucking on the tube.
Yeah, and then Andy came and put it in a CVS bag with some holes in it, and he ran
And
away.
then put it in a
True story.
Waterbed.
True story. And then I woke up and I took a crate of orange juice cartons, the little single serve orange juices, and I said, I'm taking this with me, and I left because I was pissed off. So that's
Hell yeah.
fun.
I would like to thank our sponsor, Jazz Fighter 2.
Right.
It is a video game where you can pick a jazz legend to fight as. I recommend the final stage, Vince Guaraldi boss fight. You can do Charlie Parker versus Miles Davis. It's kind of like a Def Jam New York
Right, but with jazz greats.
situation, but with jazz legends.
All right, that makes
So
sense.
you can do Stan Getz versus Mingus. You can do Dave Brubeck versus Paul Desmond. You can do whatever you want. There's a jazz.
That's great.
That's actually a really good idea.
That's a really
I
good
don't
idea.
Copyright that, but there should be
You-
a game where you can fight as jazz legends.
We do have
Jeff Jazz.
we do have 2 more sponsors tonight.
Oh yeah.
Existential Dread and Kinetic Terror. Thank you so much for all you've done for everybody in the world for the last 3 weeks.
Kinetic Terror.
Kinetic terror.
I love that.
So we'll be back on what, Sunday?
Sunday.
Yep.
Are we
On Easter, bros.
Oh, we're doing it on Easter. Okay.
Hell
Well,
yeah.
we're gonna
Well,
come.
we are gonna be back here doing this is a fun plug. You can't listen to it for a month. But we will be back here doing the 2nd episode of season 3. Because we're gonna do a crossover with Michael Dupree Variety Hour
Yeah.
that we're not gonna stream, but you can listen to it on our feed.
Wait, are we?
Oh,
We're
yeah.
releasing the same audio though,
Yeah.
so you could probably peep some of it when he releases his, if you wanna.
That's true.
Check out that
Or
Michael
all
Dupree
of it.
Variety Hour because
And also,
it's a good show.
can we
It's a
just
good show.
plug the Mike Dupree Variety Hour? That show fucking rocks. And
Uh,
if you
Variety
don't
Hour?
listen to it, you should.
Yeah,
It's a
he
good show.
Michael Dupree, America's Michael Dupree,
Uh,
all around
I
good boy. Love him to death.
enjoyed every episode I've recorded with him. We are doing a crossover episode
Ooh.
with the Michael Dupree
Ah.
Variety Hour.
This is the
where
second crossover we've done, right?
Yeah, we did big time garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, we will discuss the episode featuring one of history's greatest perverts.
No.
We will be talking about Stark Raving Dad with Michael. I can't wait. It is a good episode. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
I personally, because it's not. We'll talk about it next week. They've erased it from the history of the show because it features Michael Jackson.
But
We'll talk about
we
it.
bootlegged it, so we are gonna watch it and we're gonna tell you what we think about it for sure. And so we'll see you. We'll see you next time. Check us Sunday at 7. We'll be back on Easter. We're gonna have a cute
We'll miss
Easter
you.
dinner together. Maybe we'll eat
Yes.
eggs. Maybe we'll eat eggs together. Who knows? We'll see you soon, everybody. We love you.
I'll tell you
Remember, support Planet Ant. Venmo.
On Easter, Jesus is the only thing rising. You know what I mean?
Buddy.
Might take
Oh,
me
like that.
Hey, go to planetant.com /donate
Did
if you
guys
got some
know
money you
that
want to give us.
every time we record.
And also, if
Yeah,
you Venmo at Planet Ants, it'll give us a donation. So support us and your local theaters and artists, and remember us. And everybody, be safe. We love you. Andy, anything else?
Please give us money. Listen. I think we have a really great thing going. We're supporting a lot of different art communities in Detroit. Please
yeah.
help us keep doing that.
Hell yeah.
And also, I just want everybody to know I'm always rock hard every single second we record the show.
Hell yeah.